Hello, everybody. Welcome to Community as Medicine. I'm Dr. Elizabeth Markle. I'm a professor of community mental health, a psychologist, a writer and speaker, and most importantly, I'm the co-founder and executive director of Open Source Wellness, which is a nonprofit dedicated to transforming healthcare and health outcomes. Today in Community as Medicine, we're going to take a close look at the role that community and social connection and support play in your life. And we're going to give you some tools and strategies to make sure that you're having all the nourishing, uplifting, supportive, and close connections that you want in your life. But before we get started, two things. First, you need to know that this is not a lecture. It's an experience or a workshop. So second, in order to participate fully, you're going to need the worksheet. It's called Community as Medicine, and you can download it. I recommend that you print it out and grab a pen or a pencil so that you can fill it out as we go, but it's also okay to do it on your computer. So a couple times throughout this, I'm going to ask you to pause this video and spend some time thinking or writing, and then we'll come back and continue. All right, so when you're ready to go, here we go. I want to start by telling you a few things about social support and social connection that you might not know. I didn't know these things. Number one, there is a lot of social disconnection or isolation happening right now. Americans are experiencing epidemic levels of loneliness and social isolation. In fact, in a survey of 20,000 Americans, nearly half of them reported always or sometimes feeling lonely. Young adults and seniors are actually the most likely to struggle with social isolation and loneliness. Number two, social isolation is not good for you. The lack of social support has been shown to be worse for your health than, say, smoking 15 cigarettes a day. Lack of social connectedness is also associated with increased risk for this huge variety of mental and physical challenges like depression, anxiety, high blood pressure, obesity, and insomnia. It's tough news, I know. Okay, third, there are different kinds of social connection, and some are more important than others. So for many people, they might say, well, I see people all the time, or I'm around people all day, but that's different from a social connection where you feel deeply seen and understood. So in a recent research study, 1 in 4 Americans said they rarely or never feel as though there's someone who really gets them or really understands them. So when I hear all these facts, where I go is that it's important that we have real, enduring, powerful, meaningful community in our life. And that it's not just nice to have, it's essential or it's a must have if we're going to live a happy and healthy and well life. So at Open Source Wellness, we say very literally, community is medicine. So let's start our exploration of your social world here. I'm going to guide you using a coaching methodology that we at Open Source Wellness call truth, desire, and habit. So we start with what's true now, then we move to what you want, that's your desire, and then we look at the habits that will get you from where you are now to where you want to be. So here's step one, it's truth. If you look at your worksheet, there's an opportunity to rate your experience of social connectedness on a scale of 1 to 10. So just take a look at that and then circle the number that feels true for you. So a 10 might be, I am overwhelmingly, overflowing, abundant with love and connection and community in my life. I can't take another bite. And 0 might be, I'm really, really hungry. There's really something missing in my life around connectedness. And 5 might be, yeah, I have some connection and support, but I'd like more. Or I'm hungry for a different flavor of support, right? I like what I have, and there's something else that I'm really longing for as well. So take a minute and do that. Good. All right. So I want to acknowledge you for telling yourself the truth. It's always the best place to start. And I want to name that for most of us, we didn't circle the number 10, which means that there's room for improvement. And actually, I want to say there's no reason that you should be good at creating awesome connected relationships or communities. You know why? I don't know about you, but when I went to middle school, high school, even university, I learned about reading and writing and math and science, and I learned a profession, but I wasn't taught about how to form intimate, connected friendships, or how to navigate group dynamics, or how to create community. We're just not taught about it. So there's no reason we should be experts at it. So I invite you to just let go of any shame or doubt or feeling bad about what's maybe not all the way present in your life. And we're going to turn our attention to step two, which is desire. So I'm going to invite you to kind of free your imagination a little bit. And on your worksheet, you're going to get to write down a list of desires that you have about social connection and relationships and community in your life. So I don't know what you'll write, but it could be something like, I desire a group of friends to hang out with on Saturday nights. Or I want one close friend to take a walk with 3 times a week. Or I just want a group of guys to sit around and hang out with. Or maybe I desire a romantic partner. Or I want some people to travel with. So, whatever those are, it's great. You don't have to censor this. It's just a brainstorming phase. But go ahead and pause the video and see if you can write down 5 to 10 different desires about the kinds of social connection that you might like in your life. Go ahead and do that now. Okay, done? Welcome back. So, thank you for being willing to just feel around for what desires emerge. Part 3 is about habits, right? We've told the truth about what's so, we've gotten in touch with what we desire. Now we're going to get strategic about the habits that make our desires come true. So I want to share a quote with you. It's one of my favorite quotes by a guy named James Rouse, who said, "A community is a garden in which to grow people." I love that. Community is a garden in which to grow people. I love that image. So I don't know if any of you out there are gardeners, but if you are, then you know something about this, which is that you don't just plant flower seeds or fruit or vegetable seeds and then walk away. And then a month later, there's gorgeous flowers or fruit trees, right? It's not how it goes. Gardens require tending, right? They require a lot of steady, consistent care. And so we're going to use this metaphor to look at the ways that your community garden, as it were, your garden of social connectedness and support in your life, might benefit from some tending. So there are 3 different kinds of attention that I want to suggest that your garden of relatedness needs. So the first kind of care that gardens need is watering. This is where you provide the nutrients and the steady care and attention, water, maybe fertilizing, that plants or relationships need to grow and thrive. So, the next spot on your worksheet, I'm going to invite you to make a list of specific actions that you could take to care for existing relationships or communities in your life. So, it could be something like call my friend Mary, or set up game night with my friends, or check in with my old walking group and see if we can get together, or I'm going to call my daughter back. So these are existing relationships, and you're writing down specific actions you could take to nurture and uplift those relationships. So go ahead and pause again. See if you can write down 5 to 8 ways that you might water your garden of community. Go ahead and do that now. Okay, when you're done with that, come on back. The next kind of care that gardens need, I would call weeding, or trimming, or pruning, or adjusting. So, this is where we look at our world of relationships and we see if there are places where we're spending our relational energy or attention that are actually draining us rather than nourishing us. Now, this kind of weeding or pruning doesn't mean anything's wrong. You didn't do anything wrong. They didn't do anything wrong. It just means that something about the relationship is not aligned with your desire or your values. So often, the most compassionate and loving thing you can do is shift or redefine or shape a relationship that has somehow gotten obligatory or inauthentic or even unhealthy. So, the next spot on your worksheet is for you to write down specific actions you might take to weed or adjust your relational garden. So, here are some examples that come up. You could say, I'm going to reach out to my walking group and let them know that I'm going to join once a week, but not 3 times a week. Or I'm going to connect with my family and see how we could have our time together be more engaging and uplifting rather than complaining or gossiping together. Or you might set a boundary with a friend. You might say, I'm available for texting back and forth, but not late at night anymore. I need us to be done with our conversations by about 9 p.m. Those are just examples. I don't know what's there for you, but take a moment and see if you could write down some specific actions you might take to adjust or prune your relational garden. Go ahead and do that now. Okay, welcome back. Thank you for doing that. The third garden tending technique I want to share with you is about planting. Having made some space by weeding or pruning connections that needed to be shifted or adjusted, you've got some space that allows for planting of new seeds. So I invite you to look back at the list you made of your relationship desires, your desires for community or connectedness, and write down some specific actions that you could take to bring that to reality. So, what are new seeds of connection or community or relatedness that you might want to seek out or invite into your life? So, a couple examples. You could write, I'm going to reach out to that person that I met once but never followed up with and see if he or she wants to meet up for coffee or to get on Zoom together. You could say, I'm going to go on meetup.com and see if I can find a group of people who share an interest of mine. Or I'm going to Google tennis clubs in my area and see if there's a relaxed tennis group that I could join. So, in just a minute, you're going to get to make that list. Go ahead and look on your worksheet for the planting section, and go ahead and see if you can write down a number of specific actions that you could take to seed or potentiate new relational connections in your world. Go ahead and do that now. Okay, done? All right, welcome back. First of all, congratulations. You just used the truth, desire, and habit methodology to start transformation in your life. That's how it works. A couple quick things. First, I want to make the note that sometimes when we look closely at our relationships or our communities or our social worlds, we discover things that are really out of alignment. So it might be something that's chronically painful or unrewarding or even unhealthy or abusive, and we don't immediately know how to shift them. This happens to all of us, and it's a great reason to reach out to a therapist or a coach or someone that could really give you some support and guidance as you make big changes in how you're doing relationships. So that said, we're going to wrap up in a minute, but I have 2 bonus actions for you. Number 1, you have on your worksheet a whole bunch of action steps that you can take to create the transformation you want in your life. But pro tip here, it only works if you do them. So I invite you to look back at all your lists and with your pen or a highlighter, circle the ones that you're committed to doing. Not the ones that are just a great idea, but the ones that you go, yeah, I'm going to do that. And I further invite you to write down a date and a time commitment by which you're going to have it done. So you might say, all right, this one I'm going to do first thing when I finish this workshop. Or, tomorrow morning, I'm going to reach out to this person. Or within the next week, I'm going to do that research and send that email. So that's bonus action number 1. Please feel free to take a moment to do that. Bonus number 2 is a challenge. It's that real transformation takes sustained attention. Just like having a beautiful garden isn't about planting and walking away, transformation of your social world takes consistent, steady attention. So I want to invite you to set a weekly time to review this, to look back at your lists, maybe cross off the ones that you've completed and celebrate that, and ask yourself again, what are new desires that are emerging? What are the next action steps that are showing up that I can write down and commit to and take to manifest the community garden of my dreams? If you do this every week, your social world can't help but be transformed. Okay, it has been such a joy being here with you today. Again, I'm Dr. Elizabeth Markle with Open Source Wellness. We partner with healthcare providers and insurers and employers and communities to transform healthcare and health outcomes. And I love speaking and facilitating to all kinds of groups. You can learn more at opensourcewellness.org. You can also just reach out to me. My email is liz@opensourcewellness.org. Thank you so much for your attention. It's been a lot of fun. Take care. Be well.